When was the last time you stopped and asked yourself what you really want out of life? Not what your family wants, not what your friends expect, not what society told you to chase. What you want deep down when it's just you and your thoughts. Most people never ask this question. They wake up every day living for someone else's approval, running in circles, stuck in routines they never chose. And deep inside, they feel it. That quiet, aching sense that they're meant for more, that life could be different if they could just break free and focus on themselves. You are not here to be everything for everyone. You are not here just to keep people happy while you slowly burn out. Success, peace, happiness, they do not come when you please the world. They come when you start listening to yourself. The truth is, no one can do this for you. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you clarity. And no one can tell you what will make your soul come alive. This is your work. And that is what makes it so powerful. Right now, you might feel tired, stuck, or pulled in too many directions. You might feel like you're drowning in noise. The opinions, the notifications, the endless comparisons. But this can be the moment you take back control. This can be the day you decide that your own voice will be louder than the world's. It starts small. It starts with one choice. One decision to stop living on autopilot and turn inward. And when you do that, everything begins to shift. Because the moment you focus on yourself, you start to see clearly. The distractions lose their grip. The opinions of others stop carrying so much weight. You begin to realize you are stronger than you thought, braver than you believed, and more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for. This isn't selfish. It's necessary. You cannot build a life you love if you're always living for someone else's definition of success. You cannot find peace if your mind is always filled with everyone else's expectations. Focusing on yourself is not about shutting the world out. It's about building a world within you so strong that nothing outside can shake it. And here's the reward. When you take this journey seriously, when you truly invest in yourself, you stop chasing. You stop begging for attention, for validation, for scraps of happiness. You become magnetic. You start attracting the right opportunities, the right people, the right moments. Not because you're lucky, but because you are finally aligned with who you are meant to be. You move through life with calm confidence. You speak with clarity. You act with purpose. And that is when success and peace find you. So stay here, lean in, keep listening, because the next few minutes could be the reminder you've been waiting for. The moment you choose yourself could be the moment your entire life starts to change. But there is one thing standing in your way, the constant noise that drowns out your inner voice. Every morning before you even take a deep breath, you are hit with alerts, headlines, messages, opinions. Your mind gets pulled in 100 directions before you even have the chance to ask yourself how you feel or what you need. This is not just inconvenient, it is dangerous. Every distraction steals a piece of your focus, leaving you with fragments of attention scattered everywhere. Psychologists call this attentional residue, and it quietly drains your energy and productivity all day long. You know this feeling. You sit down to work on something important, but the thought of that text you just saw lingers. The conversation you had last night replays in your head. The endless scrolling leaves you comparing your life to strangers who seem happier, richer, more successful. Slowly, you lose touch with what really matters. You start living in reaction to everything around you instead of in creation of your own path. And the worst part, you stop hearing yourself. That quiet guiding voice inside you becomes faint under the weight of everyone else's noise. This is why so many people feel restless and unfulfilled. Even when they are busy, even when they seem to be doing everything right, they're busy answering to the world, but not to their own soul. They're chasing goals that were never truly theirs, working jobs that drain them, saying yes to things that feel like no in their heart. They keep thinking the next thing, the next raise, the next relationship, the next vacation will finally bring peace, but it never does, because peace is not out there. It is in here, and it can only be heard when you quiet the noise long enough to listen. When you begin to block out the distractions, something powerful happens. You stop reacting and start choosing. You stop living by accident and start living with intention. You become more present, more aware of what actually fuels you and what is just draining you. This clarity is not a luxury. It is the foundation of everything. Without it, you will keep spinning in circles, wondering why nothing feels enough. With it, every step you take has meaning. Every choice aligns with where you want to go. This is the work most people avoid because silence feels uncomfortable at first. Sitting alone with your thoughts can be confronting. But that discomfort is where you meet yourself. That is where you discover what you've been ignoring, what you've been suppressing, and what you truly want. The more you practice this, the stronger your inner voice becomes. And when that voice becomes stronger than the noise, you are unstoppable. So turn down the volume of the world for a moment. Let go of what everyone else is doing. Forget the pressure to keep up, to impress, to perform. Breathe. Listen. You have everything you need to begin again. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time. And the moment you reclaim your focus is the moment you take your power back. When you reclaim that focus, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your energy stops leaking into everything it doesn't serve you, and starts building into something unstoppable. Whatever you give your attention to grows, and when you give that attention back to yourself, your growth accelerates in ways you could never imagine. This is the quiet power that successful, peaceful people tap into. They are not lucky, they are intentional. They choose where their mind goes, and because of that, they choose where their life goes. Every day, you are making deposits of energy somewhere. Most people spend those deposits on gossip, comparison, meaningless drama, and things they cannot control. Then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel behind, why life feels heavy. But when you start pouring that same energy into your own development, your own skills, your own healing, you start to compound progress. Just like money grows with compound interest, so does your focus. The more you invest in yourself, the more powerful and effective you become. This is why focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is the most generous thing you can do. When you grow, you show others what is possible. When you rise, you create space for others to rise with you. But it has to start with you. If you do not know who you are, if you do not know what you want, you cannot lead anyone. You cannot inspire anyone, and you cannot experience true peace. Focusing on yourself is not about isolation. It is about alignment. It is about becoming the clearest, strongest version of you, so that everything you touch carries that strength. Picture your life like a garden. Right now, maybe it is overgrown with weeds, distractions, fears, other people's opinions, regrets from the past. You cannot control what happened yesterday, but you can pick up the tools and start clearing space today. You can start watering the seeds that actually matter. Your health, your mind, your purpose, your goals. With consistent care, those seeds grow into something beautiful, and suddenly you find yourself surrounded by opportunities you planted. The weeds no longer dominate because you chose to cultivate something greater. This is where momentum is born. The more you focus on what truly matters, the more you start to see progress. The more progress you see, the more motivated you feel. The cycle feeds itself, and what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. That's the power of turning inward. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes how you see yourself. You stop thinking like someone who is waiting to be chosen, waiting to be saved. You start thinking like someone who takes responsibility, someone who is building a future with every choice. And once you feel that shift, there is no going back. You will no longer settle for living a life designed by someone else. You will no longer waste energy on things that steal your peace. You will protect your focus like it is sacred. Because it is. This is your life. This is your time. And the moment you decide to own it completely, you step into a level of power most people never experience. But there is one invisible trap that keeps so many people from ever stepping into that power: the need for approval. From childhood, we are trained to see gold stars, praise, recognition. We are told to be good, to fit in, to do what is expected. That conditioning runs so deep that, even as adults, we measure our worth by the reactions of others. We post to be liked. We work to be noticed. We speak to be accepted. And every time we do, we hand a piece of our freedom away. This is why so many dreams die quietly. People are afraid of judgment, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of standing out. They dim their light so they do not make anyone uncomfortable. And in the process, they make themselves miserable. They follow paths that look safe but feel wrong, all to keep the approval of people who are often too busy fighting their own battles to even notice. The truth is harsh but freeing. Most people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. They are thinking about themselves, just like you are. And that means the approval you are waiting for will never come, because it was never theirs to give. It was yours. Breaking free from this cycle is not easy, but it is necessary if you want peace. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to disappoint people who expected you to stay the same. You have to be willing to risk being disliked so that you can finally respect yourself. This is where courage comes in. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is screaming in your ear. It is saying, I choose me, even if no one claps. When you stop living for applause, you start living for alignment. And alignment feels different. It feels quiet, grounded, steady. It does not spike and crash like the temporary high of external validation. It stays with you. You no longer need everyone to agree with your choices because you know why you made them. You no longer panic when someone criticizes you because their voice no longer carries more weight than your own. This is real freedom. This is peace. And something beautiful happens when you reach this point. The right people start to notice. The ones who respect your authenticity. The ones who are inspired by your courage. The ones who are meant to walk with you on this path. You do not have to chase them, and you certainly do not have to perform for them. They are drawn to you because you are real, because you are whole, because you are finally living from a place of truth. So release the need to be liked. Release the need to explain yourself to everyone who does not understand. Stand tall in who you are, even if it feels lonely at first. That loneliness is not emptiness, it is space. Space for the life you are building. Space for the right energy to find you. Space for the peace you have been searching for all along. When you create that space, something extraordinary begins to take shape. Clarity. Suddenly the fog lifts. The constant noise that used to pull you in 1,000 directions grows quiet, and you start to see what truly matters. Clarity is the most underrated superpower you can develop because once you have it, every decision becomes simpler. You no longer waste time debating whether something is right for you. You know, you feel it in your body. And that inner knowing saves you from years of wandering down roads that do not lead where you want to go. Clarity does not show up by accident. It is born from intentional reflection, from sitting with yourself long enough to ask the hard questions and wait for honest answers. What do you want? What do you value? What are you willing to fight for? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? Most people never take the time to answer these questions, so they spend their lives running on default, chasing goals that are not theirs and wondering why nothing feels enough. But when you dare to be still, when you dare to face yourself, you unlock the truth that has been waiting inside you all along. This truth is not always comfortable. Sometimes clarity shows you that the life you're living is too small for the person you are becoming. Sometimes it reveals relationships, habits, or patterns that must end, and that can be painful. But pain is the price of alignment, and it is worth it. Because once you step into that alignment, you no longer wake up dreading your days. You wake up with purpose. You feel a sense of direction, a quiet confidence that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. When you operate with clarity, the world begins to respond differently to you. Opportunities that match your vision seem to appear out of nowhere. People who share your values cross your path. Obstacles that used to paralyze you suddenly look like challenges you are ready to face. This is not magic, this is focus. Your mind is wired to filter reality based on what it believes is important. And when you get clear, your brain starts filtering for the things that serve you. You see what you once overlooked. You act on what you once ignored. And step by step, you build a life you once thought was out of reach. Clarity also gives you peace. You no longer have to carry the weight of endless indecision, the stress of trying to please everyone, the anxiety of living a life that does not fit you. You get to choose with confidence, and that confidence is liberating. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Your life becomes a reflection of your deepest truth, not of everyone else's expectations. So give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to question everything you have been told. Give yourself permission to write a new story. Because when you are clear, you are powerful. And when you are powerful, nothing can keep you from the peace and success you are here to claim. Clarity alone is not enough. Once you know who you are and what you want, you must protect that vision with action. This is where discipline comes in. Without discipline, even the clearest path becomes overgrown again. Your focus will get pulled back into the noise and all the clarity you worked for will slip away. Discipline is the bridge between knowing and becoming. It is the daily decision to act in alignment with your future self, even when it is hard, even when no one is watching, even when the results are not instant. Habits are where this transformation begins. Your life right now is the result of the habits you've repeated day after day for years. The way you speak to yourself, the way you spend your mornings, the way you react to stress. These patterns shape who you are becoming, whether you notice them or not. The good news is that you have the power to change them. Neuroscience shows that habits rewire the brain. Each time you choose differently, each time you act in a way that aligns with your vision, you lay down a new pathway. At first, it feels unnatural, but the more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. The power of small, consistent action cannot be overstated. You do not need massive leaps every day. You need small, intentional steps taken with commitment. The person who wins is not the one who burns bright for a week and disappears. It is the one who keeps showing up, who keeps planting seeds, who keeps putting in the work long after the excitement wears off. Over time, those small actions compound into a life that feels unshakable. And because they are built on discipline, they cannot be taken away by a bad day, a single failure, or the opinions of others. There will be days when discipline feels like sacrifice, days when you want to quit, when your old habits pull at you, when comfort whispers for you to stay the same. Those are the days that matter most. Those are the days you are sculpting your character. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you send a message to yourself: I am serious. I am worthy of this future. I am becoming the person I said I would be. That repetition builds trust with yourself, and that trust becomes the foundation for unshakable confidence. The world often celebrates talent and luck, but it is discipline that separates those who wish from those who win. Discipline is how you turn clarity into reality. Discipline is how you build momentum that no setback can break. And the more disciplined you become, the more free you feel, because you are no longer controlled by impulse, by temptation, by the old patterns that kept you small. You are in control. You are deliberate. You are moving with purpose. So treat every choice as a vote for the life you want. Protect your habits like sacred rituals. Build routines that make it easy to win and make it hard to fail. Every day is a chance to cast those votes again and again until the person you are becoming is undeniable. That is how you transform. That is how you attract the life that matches your highest vision. As you build that discipline, you also learn to master something even more powerful: your emotional energy. Because it is not just what you do that shapes your life, it is the energy you bring to everything you do. If your mind is restless, your heart heavy, your spirit drained, even the best habits will feel like a burden. Success and peace are not just about strategy, they are about state. When you learn to regulate your emotional state, you unlock a level of focus and resilience that most people never experience. Think about how much energy is lost every day to anger, stress, resentment, and fear. One negative conversation can spiral into hours of overthinking. One moment of frustration can ruin an entire day. When you let emotions control you, they rob you of clarity and momentum. But when you learn to pause, breathe, and respond instead of react, you take your power back. You become the calm in the storm, the grounded force that cannot be shaken. That ability to stay centered is a superpower in a world addicted to chaos. This is not about suppressing what you feel. It is about learning to use those emotions as information rather than letting them control you. When you feel anger, ask what boundary was crossed. When you feel fear, ask what you are protecting. When you feel sadness, ask what you are grieving. Every emotion carries a message, and when you listen, you grow. Instead of fighting your feelings or drowning in them, you learn to channel them into action that moves you forward. Psychology tells us that emotions are energy in motion. Left unmanaged, they create destructive cycles, arguments that go nowhere, grudges that last for years, anxiety that steals sleep. But when you learn to move that energy intentionally, through breath, through reflection, through action, you convert it into power. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the master of how you experience them. This is where true peace begins, not when life stops being hard, but when your inner world becomes stronger than anything outside you. Imagine the advantage this gives you. While others are losing control, you are thinking clearly. While others are stuck in reaction, you are making decisions from a place of power. This emotional steadiness allows you to stay consistent with your habits, to protect your focus, and to keep moving even when the path feels heavy. It allows you to hold your vision steady even when everything around you tries to shake it. And here's the secret. Emotional mastery is built the same way as any other skill, through repetition. Every time you choose to pause instead of explode, breathe instead of panic, reflect instead of spiral, you strengthen that muscle. Soon calm becomes your default state. Soon your presence becomes an anchor for others. And soon life stops feeling like a series of fires you have to put out and starts feeling like a mission you are fully equipped to handle. Protect your emotional energy like it is gold, because it is. Your emotions shape your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. When you master this inner current, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger than anything life can throw at you. The stronger you become on the inside, the more carefully you must guard what surrounds you. Because no matter how disciplined or focused you are, your environment will either fuel your growth or quietly sabotage it. The people you spend time with shape your beliefs, your energy, and even your sense of what is possible. Science shows that we subconsciously mirror the behaviors of those around us, their moods, their habits, their attitudes toward life. If you surround yourself with negativity, doubt, and distraction, you will eventually absorb it. But if you choose to be around ambition, courage, and vision, you will rise to match it. Take a hard look at the voices in your life. Do they challenge you to grow or keep you small? Do they celebrate your progress or secretly resent it? Do they encourage you to stay focused or pull you into drama that derails your momentum? You cannot build a life of peace and success while staying in circles that thrive on chaos. Protecting your energy means creating boundaries, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. It means saying no to people, places, and conversations that drain you so you can say yes to the life you are building. This does not mean you cut everyone off or isolate yourself. It means you become intentional about who gets access to you. Time, your attention, and your energy are sacred, and not everyone has earned the right to influence them. Some people belong in your life, but not in your mind. Some conversations can be brief instead of consuming hours of your day. Some relationships need space for you to grow before they can meet you where you are going. Choosing your circle is an act of self-respect, and that respect becomes the standard by which others treat you. And when you find those few who truly align with your vision, hold them close. The ones who encourage you when you doubt yourself. The ones who remind you of your strength when you forget. The ones who are not threatened by your growth, but inspired by it. These are the people who make the journey lighter, who remind you that you are not alone, who push you to keep going when it would be easier to quit. Build with them, grow with them, celebrate with them. Your environment is either a garden or a battlefield. When it is a garden, it nurtures your focus and makes discipline feel natural. When it is a battlefield, it forces you to waste precious energy just defending your peace. You have the power to choose which one you will live in, and the more you choose wisely, the easier it becomes to stay aligned with who you are becoming. Do not be afraid to outgrow old circles. Growth will naturally separate you from what no longer serves you. Trust that process. Trust that by making space, you are creating room for the right energy, the right people, and the right opportunities to enter. You are not just protecting your focus. You are building the foundation for a future where success and peace can actually take root and flourish. Even when you build the right environment, life will still test you. Pain will still come. Challenges will still appear. But what you do with that pain will define everything. Most people let pain harden them. They let it turn into bitterness, anger, and excuses. They carry it like a weight, and it slows them down for years. But pain is not meant to keep you stuck. It is meant to wake you up. It is a signal that something must change, a call to grow stronger, a reminder that you are still alive and capable of transformation. Every disappointment, every failure, every heartbreak can either become a wall that keeps you from moving forward or a fire that fuels your next level. The choice is yours. When you run from pain, it chases you. When you face it, you reclaim control. You stop asking why it happened and start asking what it can teach you. And in that moment, pain becomes power. It becomes the reason you show up with more focus, more urgency, more commitment. It becomes the force that pushes you to do the hard work others avoid. The people who create extraordinary lives are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who keep getting up. They take the losses, the betrayals, the failures, and they let them sharpen their vision. They let them strip away what doesn't matter. They let them build a resilience so deep that no setback can stop them. This is what Nipsey Hussle meant when he said the marathon continues. The race is long, the journey is hard, but if you keep moving, if you keep running through the pain, eventually you cross into a life you once thought was impossible. Pain also has a way of showing you who you really are. When everything falls apart, you discover strength you didn't know you had. You discover priorities that were hidden under all the noise. You discover the people who truly stand with you. These moments hurt, but they are purifying. They burn away the illusions and leave you with something real, a clearer version of yourself, a sharper sense of purpose, a deeper understanding of what matters most. This is why you must not waste your pain. Do not bury it. Do not numb it. Do not pretend it never happened. Sit with it, learn from it, and then use it. Channel it into your discipline. Channel it into your vision. Channel it into building the life that will make all the struggle worth it. That is how you honor what you've been through, by turning it into fuel for who you are becoming. There will be moments when the weight feels unbearable, when quitting feels easier, when you wonder if it is even worth it. Those are the defining moments. That is when the breakthrough is closest. If you keep running, keep showing up, keep turning pain into progress, you will wake up one day and realize the very thing that once tried to break you became the reason you rose higher than ever before. The hardest part of any transformation is staying consistent when the results are not visible. It is easy to stay motivated when the progress is obvious, when the rewards are immediate, when the applause is loud. But true growth is built in the quiet, invisible seasons. The mornings you show up when no one is watching, the nights you stay disciplined when no one will blame you for stopping, the countless repetitions that no one will ever see. This is where most people quit. They confuse slow results with no results, and they walk away right before their breakthrough. Your mind will try to convince you that it is not working, that your effort is wasted, that it would be easier to go back to what is familiar. This is the test. The universe, life, whatever you want to call it, it will always test you before it rewards you. It will ask you to prove that you are serious, to keep moving when it feels pointless, to trust the process even when the finish line is nowhere in sight. If you can hold steady in those moments, you separate yourself from almost everyone else. Because most people stop. They stop when it gets uncomfortable. They stop when it gets slow. They stop when it gets lonely. And that is why they never see what was waiting just beyond the struggle. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is a choice you make every single day to keep showing up. It is planting seeds and trusting that they will grow. Even when the soil still looks bare, it is running a marathon at your own pace, knowing that the race is long and that rushing only leads to burnout. The ones who win are not the ones who sprint the hardest at the start. They are the ones who keep moving mile after mile after mile until momentum takes over and carrying on becomes natural. Every time you stay consistent, you strengthen your belief in yourself. You build evidence that you can be trusted to follow through. You build faith that your actions will lead to results, even if you cannot see them yet. This faith becomes a shield against doubt and discouragement. It keeps you grounded when everything in you wants to give up. It reminds you that every day you show up, you are stacking wins that will one day add up to something undeniable. There will be seasons where nothing seems to be happening, where you feel stuck, where progress feels painfully slow. These are the seasons where champions are made. Because if you can stay focused when it feels like nothing is working, imagine how powerful you will be when everything starts to work in your favor. Momentum will come, the results will come, the breakthrough will come, but only if you refuse to quit. So keep going, keep planning, keep building. Every day you stay consistent, you are closer than you think. One day the effort that felt invisible will become impossible to ignore, and the life you were chasing will be standing right in front of you because you refused to stop running when the road got hard. And as you keep going, something begins to shift inside you. The pressure to reach the destination fades, and you start finding peace in the process itself. You stop living only for the finish line and begin to appreciate the strength you are building along the way. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every obstacle becomes a chance to sharpen your focus. You realize that success is not just a place you arrive at, but a state you carry within you, one that grows stronger the more you trust the journey. Peace is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of stability, no matter what is happening around you. It is waking up with gratitude, even when the circumstances are not perfect. It is finding calm in the middle of chaos because you know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. This kind of peace is rare because it cannot be bought. borrowed, or given by anyone else. It must be cultivated from within, and the more you nurture it, the less the outside world can shake you. When you start living this way, you stop waiting for life to be perfect before you allow yourself to feel happy. You stop tying your sense of worth to outcomes you cannot control. You begin to enjoy the little moments, the quiet mornings, the deep breaths, the victories no one else sees. You carry yourself differently because you are no longer rushing through life, desperate to get somewhere else. You are present. You are grounded. And from this place, your decisions become clearer and your actions become more intentional. This presence is magnetic. People feel it. They notice the calm in your voice, the steadiness in your energy, the lack of panic even when others are spinning out. This is the kind of energy that opens doors you didn't even know existed because people trust those who radiate peace. They are drawn to those who are aligned, who are not easily swayed by fear or desperation. The opportunities you once had to chase now start to find you because you have become a person who can handle them. Gratitude amplifies this process. When you start focusing on what is already good, you shift your brain out of scarcity and into abundance. You stop obsessing over what is missing and start building on what is working. This mindset creates momentum. It makes every small win feel meaningful, every step forward feel like progress worth celebrating. And as your gratitude grows, so does your resilience. Because when you can find something to be thankful for in every situation, nothing can truly break you. This is what makes the journey sustainable. You are no longer running on pressure and stress, but on purpose and peace. You are no longer fueled by fear of failure, but by love for the person you are becoming. The process stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a privilege. And the more you embrace that privilege, the more life begins to feel lighter, freer, and filled with meaning, even before you arrive at the vision you have been chasing. When you reach this level of peace, you stop comparing your life to anyone else's. You stop measuring your progress against timelines that were never meant for you. The pressure to match someone else's speed dissolves, and you finally give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. Comparison is a thief that drains your energy and blinds you to how far you've come. Every time you look at what someone else has, you rob yourself of the power you could be using to build your own. The truth is, no one else is living your life. No one else is walking your exact path. The moment you understand that, you reclaim your freedom. You start trusting yourself again. You start making decisions based on what feels aligned for you, not based on what will impress the crowd. This is where you become unstoppable. Because when you are no longer chasing validation, you cannot be controlled by opinions. When you no longer need approval, you no longer hesitate to do what must be done. And that courage begins to create momentum that no one can take from you. Comparison fuels anxiety. Focus fuels progress. When your attention is fully on yourself, every ounce of energy you once wasted on worrying about others is redirected into building the life you actually want. You begin to see opportunities you would have missed because you were too distracted by what everyone else was doing. Your mind becomes sharper, your goals become clearer, and your actions become more decisive. The noise fades, and you finally hear your own voice again. And this is what draws the right people and the right opportunities toward you. People are drawn to clarity. They are drawn to those who know where they are going, even if the path is not perfect yet. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, you signal to the world that you are not waiting for permission. You are already moving, already building, already becoming. That kind of energy is contagious. It inspires respect, it attracts support, and it invites collaboration that aligns with your vision instead of distracting you from it. The life you want does not come from outworking everyone else. It comes from outgrowing who you used to be. It comes from releasing the need to compete and stepping fully into your own lane. When you stop running someone else's race, you start running faster in your own, and the finish line becomes irrelevant because you are no longer just trying to arrive somewhere. You are becoming someone. Every day you choose to focus on yourself, you are breaking free from a cycle that keeps most people stuck. You are teaching yourself that your worth is not measured by comparison, that your progress is not invalid just because someone else is ahead, that your path is valid simply because it is yours. This is where peace and power meet. This is where success stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like alignment. And when you reach this place, you no longer chase what is meant for you. It starts moving in your direction. When you reach the point where what you attract aligns with who you are, life begins to feel lighter, but it also demands more of you. The weight of excuses no longer fits. The version of you who hid behind distractions cannot survive here. Growth will demand that you step into responsibility, that you own every choice, every reaction, every outcome. And this is where many people hesitate because responsibility feels heavy at first. But in truth, it is the most liberating thing you can carry. When you take full ownership of your life, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop blaming circumstances and you stop waiting for the perfect moment. You realize you are the moment. This shift is powerful because it turns struggle into strategy. When something goes wrong, you no longer ask, why me? You ask, what can I do with this? That single question changes everything. It takes you from victim to creator. It gives you back control over your energy and your direction. And when you live from this place, setbacks stop being dead ends. They become redirections. Failures stop being final. They become feedback. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every loss becomes data. Every challenge becomes a tool you can use to build something better. The truth is, peace is not passive. It is not simply sitting back and letting life unfold. Peace is active. It is choosing to stay grounded even when everything around you is shaking. It is deciding that you will not let fear make your decisions for you. It is taking action not because you are desperate, but because you are committed to your vision. This is why focusing on yourself is so crucial, because when you are clear about who you are and what you stand for, you cannot be moved by every storm. The discipline you build during this stage becomes your anchor. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It keeps you aligned when motivation fades. It keeps you consistent when emotions fluctuate. It turns the life you want into a series of deliberate choices rather than wishful thinking. Every small disciplined act compounds, turning into habits, turning into character, turning into destiny. And this destiny is not random. It is something you have built brick by brick through your willingness to stay committed. With time, you will notice that the weight you once carried turns into strength. What once felt like sacrifice now feels like self-respect. The late nights, the early mornings, the quiet moments of saying no to distractions, they will all add up to a kind of confidence no one can give you and no one can take away. You will look back and realize that what once felt heavy was actually shaping you into someone capable of carrying more, creating more, living more. This is when you become dangerous in the best way. Not because you are reckless, but because you are focused. Not because you are untouchable, but because you are unshakable. You move through the world with clarity, with purpose, with the quiet certainty that no matter what happens, you will find a way to rise because you have already proven to yourself that you can.